This family lost everything in a fire overnight. The mother couldn't stop crying, but then her son stepped forward.
Everything's gone. Just everything's gone.
Yeah, everything's gone, even my lighter and my deodorant. I was having so much fun with them. Best night ever.
Best night ever.
This man was crying alone in a parking lot. When I saw him, I couldn't just walk away.
I'm just thinking about my kid who passed away and shit.
I'm sorry, man.
Shit's all good, man.
He was exhausted, standing under the burning sun, and he told me he didn't even have money for food.
Dude, for real?
Yeah, I'll buy you some food, man.
Fucking bad, bro.
No, anything you want, man. Okay, from where?
Wendy's.
Okay, let's go.
So instead of asking questions, I took him inside and bought him a meal.
Thank you for this food. Nothing but the best. Amen.
And in that moment, you could see something change in his eyes. This kid was walking to school barefoot. His shoes were missing, and his school bag was already falling apart. Then someone called him from behind. The boy turned around and slowly walked over. The man handed him a brand new school bag, but he didn't stop there. He gently checked the boy's foot size with his own hands, left for a moment, and came back with new shoes. They fit perfectly. When the laces wouldn't tie properly, the man knelt down and tied them for him. The boy stood still for a second, then quietly thanked him and walked to school with a smile. This man was playing his guitar when something unusual happened. As the music carried through the air, elephants nearby slowly turned toward him. One by one, they walked closer, and then stopped right in front of him. There was even a tiny baby elephant standing between them. As he kept playing, they gently moved their trunks, swaying to the sound, and for a moment, it felt like they were dancing just for him.
You won't believe what this dog got for Christmas. At first, he just stared at the gift, like, what is this? So he slowly started opening it with his teeth, but then he spotted something blue inside, and without thinking, he suddenly got way more excited. When it finally opened, out popped a cute, angry-looking blue octopus. He froze for a second, completely confused, then calmly grabbed it in his mouth and walked away like it was his prize.
This little kid was trying so hard to catch a giant bubble floating above him, but it kept drifting higher and higher, just out of reach. Then something beautiful happened. Everyone around him started cheering him on, and at the very last second, with his tiny, gentle hands, he finally popped it. This kid definitely deserves a like. This 88-year-old grandpa was waiting at the airport for his little granddaughter. She was standing right behind him, trying again and again to tell him it was her, but he didn't recognize her because she had grown up. He was still waiting for her, even brought her favorite milk tea, and then suddenly he looked at her face closely, and that's when he realized it was really her. They hugged tight, and honestly, everyone watching got emotional too. In China, there's a wedding tradition most people don't know. Wedding cars can't take the same route back. So when this convoy reached a narrow road, one man did something unbelievable. He tipped his own tricycle into the field just to clear the way. The newlyweds were shocked and handed him a red envelope to say thank you. But what happened next was even better. After moving ahead, they came back and helped lift his tricycle back onto the road. This girl stood there trying not to cry. At the event, everyone else had a date, except her. Some people even laughed, and she felt completely invisible. Then suddenly, a guy walked up from behind and asked her to go with him. At first, she thought he meant someone else. She couldn't believe it was really for her. But when it finally hit her, she rushed forward and hugged him as tight as she could.
This girl prepared a cozy bed for her 3 dogs, but the third one did something unexpected. At first, the first 2 took their spots like always, but the third one acted strange again. Even though there was plenty of space, he squeezed himself right between the other 2, like he belonged there. So she brought out an even bigger mattress, thinking this time they'd finally spread out, but he still pushed his way right into the center. Then she tried 2 separate beds, hoping he'd finally sleep alone, but he refused and ran right back to his brothers. And that's when she finally realized the truth. These 3 had grown up together, slept together their whole lives, and this dog wasn't being stubborn. He was protecting the only family he ever knew. Would you keep all 3 together or try to separate them? This cat accidentally exposed her owner's boyfriend's secret money stash. It started when she realized the cat could find hidden objects, so she asked her to search around the house. Instead of playing, the cat kept going back to random things, and inside each one was money. First, she checked the cutting board, and the cat immediately found cash hidden inside it, so she told the cat to keep looking. Then the cat grabbed a skincare box she had just bought and kept pressing one corner over and over. She opened it and found another pile of hidden money inside a secret pocket. Next, the cat moved to another box and dug underneath it. There was more money taped to the bottom, and when the owner finally put all the cash together, she realized the cat had uncovered every single stash her boyfriend was trying to hide from her.
This dog wanted to surprise his owner on Father's Day, but what he did next made millions cry. He left home early that morning. No barking, no noise, just a quiet purpose in his steps. He ran straight to a garden and began picking fruits, one by one, placing them gently into a tiny basket. Then he carried the basket to a roadside stall, not to beg, but to work. Every fruit he sold with pride. Every coin he earned with love. But what he didn't know was that his owner had been following him the whole time, hiding behind a wall, watching every moment in silence. And every fruit the dog sold, it was his owner buying them all, just to see how far his little boy would go. By evening, the dog gathered all his money. He refused help, ran to a small shop, and used every coin he had to buy a tiny gift. When he came home, tail wagging, eyes shining, he placed it near his owner's feet, as if saying, "Happy Father's Day." The owner smiled, hugged him tight, and ran to show his wife the gift. The dog just stood there, watching them with teary eyes, because he finally knew he didn't need words to say, "I love you." If this didn't break you, your heart's made of stone. This cat was about to die in a game. He was so small, too weak to even lift his head. I asked how long he'd been there. The owner said a few days. Days of sitting in that box, waiting for someone who never came. So I bought every hoop they had. One by one, I threw them, missed, tried again, missed again, but I couldn't walk away. Then finally, one landed. Everyone cheered, but I didn't, because I knew this wasn't a prize, it was a heartbeat. I picked up the cage, and as soon as I did, it started to rain. He curled up in my lap during the ride home, and for the first time, I think he felt safe enough to sleep. When we got home, I cleaned his tiny eyes and gave him medicine. He trembled at first, but when I held him close, he stopped. He looked up at me with the softest eyes, and in that moment, I realized he wasn't scared anymore. If you'd have saved him too, leave a heart. At first, I thought the cat pond was on fire. Steam was rising from the water, curling into the cold air. But as I got closer, I realized it wasn't fire at all. The rain had just stopped. The air was cool, but the cats looked peaceful. Each had found a tiny spot, curled up in boxes, sleeping like clouds. Even without sealing their shelters, they didn't look cold. Maybe because winter hadn't arrived yet. But next day, one corner caught my eye, a cardboard box that kept shaking. The new cats had turned it into their nest, so I decided to build them a real one. I found an old box at home, reinforced the base, and lined it with insulation. Then I added waterproof heating pads, cotton, and sealed every edge tight. When I turned it on, the box glowed faintly, like a tiny heartbeat in the dark. That night, I checked again. It was 11 p.m., and the cats were all asleep inside, more than 10 of them. 2 others waited by the door, trying to squeeze in. I reached in. It was warm, soft, alive, and suddenly, I understood. That smoke I saw earlier wasn't fire. It was warmth. It was love, rising into the night air. This cat always dreamed of swimming with fish. Every day, she'd sit by the tank, her eyes following every tiny bubble, as if she belonged in that world. So her owner decided to make that dream real. She measured her cat's size, then went to a glass workshop where a craftsman cut every panel by hand. Each piece fit perfectly, and they even built 2 small tunnels so the cat could walk in and out freely. But when the aquarium was done, something still felt missing. So she built a wooden stand herself, polished it until it shined, and attached it to the tank. Then came the sand, the toys, and finally the water. And when it was ready, the cat jumped straight in. No fear, no hesitation, just pure joy. In that moment, she wasn't just watching the fish anymore, she was one of them. This cat had no idea his whole world was about to turn into paper. His owner wanted to test how smart he really was, so she replaced everything he owned with fake paper versions. His snacks, his toys, even his litter box. At first, he didn't notice a thing. He even shook her hand for a paper treat. But when dinner time came, something felt wrong. No smell, no flavor, just silence. He looked at her like, "Mom, what happened to my food?" She tried not to laugh, but his confused little face almost broke her heart. Then he quietly walked to his bed, sighed, and laid down, like he'd accepted that life was just paper now. Feeling guilty, she brought him real shrimp. And the way he purred after that, you could tell. He forgave her completely. Because even when you prank a cat, love always wins in the end. But he didn't get a single like or subscribe. This cat is obsessed with Tom and Jerry. She doesn't just watch the show, she loves the little mouse like a best friend. So, her owner came up with a wild idea. She started collecting her cat's shed fur for something special. Using the cat's own fur, she made a tiny wool felt version of Jerry. Pointy ears, big eyes, it looked exactly like the real one. Even the cat couldn't believe her eyes. Then, she went one step further and she built a cheese airplane for Jerry, just like the one from the game crossover between Tom and Jerry and Clockwork Heroes. house. The cat immediately claimed it as her new toy and refused to share. Now every night she watches Tom and Jerry with her new Jerry plush. Some obsessions are just too cute to stop.